Hey, welcome to another video. So today we're going to be going into everything there is to know about the Gold Lord Yu. But before we begin, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Sith Citadel Discord, links in the description, and consider becoming a join member or sending a super thanks if you wish to further support the channel. Otherwise, let's jump straight into it. Lord Yu is considered to be one of the most reasonable system lords, who has kept his realm stable via a combination of pragmatism, ruthlessness, and enlightened self-interest. Yu is a pragmatic and practical Goa'uld, one who is not a punitive ruler. He is the oldest of the Goa'uld, and some would say the greatest of all of them. Lord Yu speaks with instantaneous authority. Through irritation, constantly tinges his voice. Rarely does he lose his temper, and only orders reprisals when he believes that doing so serves his long-term interests. During the first Goa'uld dynasty, Yu actively supported Ra, since he kept the other system lords in line. In his rivalry with Kronos, the conflicts between the two usually ended in a stalemate, despite Kronos' impressive military might and resources. The volatile, aggressive Kronos often made foolhardy moves that Yu was able to counter via better strategies. Yet, due to his conservatism, Yu was able to take advantage of all opportunities to kill Kronos. In addition, Kronos was often in conflict with the other system lords, and never gained their support, which helped Yu. Recently, Yu was in conflict with both Morrigan and Olokun, and though the application of superior force and strategy, he remained victorious. In the far past, he had 4 Goa'uld queens under his control. All but one of them has died from old age. The remaining queen, who is too old to spawn, still retains a position of trust and respect. Yu was also rumored to have up to 100 concubines spread across holdings, which adopted human sons on each of his planets, whom were in charge during his absence. His biological children have been appointed to cultural and political postings, rather than military or political positions, thereby keeping true power away from their hands. His Jaffa were given more latitude compared to the first primes and generals of other Goa'uld, but are expected to achieve more. To ensure that no Jaffa immigrants can be infiltrated as spies into his realm, he only promotes those Jaffa of his own realm to positions beyond the rank of captain. Among his upper-level officers, most of them have personally known Lord Yu since their childhood. He handpicked them for their positions after checking with the first prime and obtaining his approval. Due to the extremely rigid controls that Lord Yu has implemented over the military's behaviors and contacts, the Tok'ra have been unable to infiltrate his forces, and one Tok'ra operative is believed to have defected into his army. Lord Yu is capable of committing acts of brutality, but prefers using bribes and rewards to maintain order in his domain. With a realm as extensive as his, it's a more effective strategy for keeping order, permitting him to conserve time and resources for other more pressing issues. He also uses the superior technology at his disposal to influence the production of food and agriculture by his subjects. Lord Yu will either withhold or grant assistance to his subjects, thereby gaining the loyalty of the population. Loyal or compliant subjects experience reward-breaking crops, and problematic or rebellious subjects have their food and water supplies held hostage. By making it known that such practices are not common among the other system lords, he has ensured good feelings and loyalty among all his subjects, from the lowest mine worker or farmer to the most elevated Jaffa. The armies of Lord Yu are huge, with over 1 million Jaffa and a fleet of 16 Hatak vessels. Because his worlds are connected via a well-planned selection of transport corridors and satellites, it has made them extremely defensible and therefore very difficult to take via a direct attack. Since Lord Yu was alive during the Goa'uld's war against the Asgard, one of the few left from that conflict, he is extremely wary of them. Lord Yu refuses to underestimate the Asgard's technological and tactical capabilities, and is a strong supporter of pursuing strategy that avoids direct confrontation with the Asgard. Yu was part of the delegation that was sent by the System Lords to negotiate Earth's entry into the Asgard's Protected Planets Treaty, along with Kronos and Nirrti. He partially favored the treaty, as his interests no longer resided in that area of the Milky Way, looking towards other exploits. After SG1 revealed Nirrti's treachery to kill Kronos, Yu was convinced to allow Earth into the treaty, and also let them keep their Stargates, which were originally to be forfeited as a condition of the treaty. Although he and Kronos did note that any SG teams found on Goa'uld-controlled planets would still be fair game. During the aftermath of the deaths of Apophis, Kronos, and Herer, Yu was among the System Lords who engaged in combat with the others to dominate the power vacuum. He made strides against Olokin, but soon began to suffer attacks by an unknown adversary. When the System Lords gathered to end the conflict, Osiris, who recently gained the respect of the GOA'ULD, arrived as an emissary on behalf of Anubis, whom he revealed to be the one behind the attacks. Yu was the only one of the System Lords present who had voted Anubis regain his former rank of System Lord, and was the only one among the High Council who had originally banished him in the first place. Dr. Daniel Jackson, posing as his Lotard Jaren, attempted to use Telchak to kidnap Osiris in order to free his host, Sarah Gardner, but Yu stumbled upon them. Osiris stabbed Yu with a knife, but Yu survived and declared war on Anubis. When Teal'c led a raid on P3X042, his Jaffa captured Teal'c. Noting that Teal'c was not one to blindly follow another, Yu allowed him to leave unharmed after he revealed the treachery of Kitano, the new leader of the Jaffa rebellion, inspiring Teal'c to challenge Kitano in Joma Seku, resulting in him learning that Kitano was actually Imhotep. When Colonel Jack O'Neill was captured by Baal and taken to his secret fortress, the SGC contacted Yu with information about it, knowing that he would attack the fortress as Baal was hiding in it in his anti-gravity research from the other GOA'ULD. In the message, they asked Yu to target the power generators first so that O'Neill could escape. Yu sent his Hitaki to the fortress. He bombarded it from orbit and knocked out the power generators first as asked. O'Neill escaped thanks to Yu's attack, and Baal abandoned the fortress, which was left heavily damaged until SG1 returned for a raid a year later in which it was destroyed. Yu then spent the next year fiercely campaigning against Anubis, and finally managed to rally the other System Lords against him. However, the power of the sarcophagus was beginning to fail to fully restore him, until he reached the point where he was no longer able to take a new host. Yu began to suffer from a sense of senility, giving blatantly foolish orders that could jeopardize the campaign against Anubis. In turn, his first prime Oshu had to take control of his master's empire to keep it from falling into anarchy, and when Baal took leadership of the United Alliance of the System Lords, Oshu agreed to obey Baal as long as his actions led to the destruction of Anubis and the betterment of his master's territory. When Baal took control of the Coal Warriors, Yu was accompanied by Camulus Amaterasu and his first prime and the second delegation to Earth to seek their help in defeating Baal. His senility showed during the negotiation once again when he believed that the System Lords are still facing Anubis. Yu and Amaterasu left empty-handed, while Camulus sought asylum. Over the next year, Amaterasu and Yu campaigned against Baal, while the rest of the System Lords fell, fled, or surrendered. At a meeting in the Hasara space station, Baal sent his underlord, Selket, to negotiate the High Council's surrender. Replicator Carter arrived, posing as Samantha Carter, and ran a blade through Yu's chest, finally killing him. So Yu can be fairly pragmatic and methodical. While certainly no friend of Earth, Yu was mostly concerned with strengthening his hold on the territory he already controls, while other GOA'ULD will often haphazardly waste resources to try and conquer the galaxy. Yu was also fairly willing to negotiate with Earth, as opposed to the other System Lords which view all humans as just livestock, and achieve a diplomatic solution, more or less coexisting with the Tari, twice assisting them in their campaigns against the other System Lords when their forces were insufficient to the task at hand. However, it is stated that this due in no small part to the fact that the territories Yu controls are on the opposite side of the Milky Way galaxy, and thus most of the other System Lords are located between Yu and Earth. Allowing Earth to survive helps destabilize Yu's GOA'ULD enemies located between the two. Another factor is simply the persona that Yu took, that of one of China's early emperors, who is not really considered a god per se. Like many other GOA'ULD, however, Yu does generally seem to believe himself and his own propaganda, unlike Baal, who privately acknowledged the falsehood of his claim and was rather flippant about it. Still, Yu rarely asserts this fact, even when questioned, or endeavored to force others to acknowledge it, as opposed to Apophis and Sokar, who are rather self-obsessed with their status as gods. Unlike other GOA'ULD, who might agree to an alliance with the Tari to achieve an immediate goal and then turn against them when the time is right, Yu is generally shown to keep his word and stick to their agreement. The only time he betrayed Earth was when his senility caused him to make a mistake. Also, unlike other GOA'ULD, who will attempt to exploit any chance to kill the Shulva Teal'c, and only fail to do so when Teal'c escapes or kills them himself, Yu once allowed Teal'c to live. even after Kitano had attempted to convince Teal'c to assassinate him. Yu implying that he admired Teal'c's ability not only to blindly serve another, although it should be noted that his actions also undermined Imhotep's attempt to infiltrate the Jaffa rebellion, suggesting that Yu's true goal was to defeat his adversary while saving face. As he became increasingly senile, Yu's orders became more and more erratic and unreliable, but his past actions ensured the continued loyalty of his first prime, Oshu, who took control of Yu's armies, while leaving his master as a public figurehead, agreeing to serve the more mentally stable Baal so long as Baal's actions would serve to benefit Yu, such as through ensuring the destruction of Anubis. So what did you guys think of the GOA'ULD Lord Yu? Please let me know in the comments down below. If you haven't already, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Sith Citadel Discord, links in the description, and consider becoming a join member or sending a super thanks if you wish to further support the channel. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.